Hello there, my beautiful listeners. I am your host, Allison K. Dagny, and I want to welcome you back to another episode of the Be a Better You podcast. Now, imagine your phone pings and there's a text from a friend. It says, "Did you see what they posted about you on Facebook?" Your heart sinks immediately right as you open it, and you're bracing yourself for another round of lies, more accusations, character assassination, all the things, right? And if you've ever been caught in the middle of a smear campaign, whether it was during your divorce or after, you know it's not just hurtful, it's exhausting. So today we're diving in how to protect your peace when someone is determined to drag your name through the mud. This has happened to me, and this has happened to many people who I know and lots of my clients. So I'm going to be sharing my own story that these emotional tolls take on us, and most importantly, how you can rise above it. So stick around till the end. I've got a special announcement tied to the launch of my upcoming book, Radiate and Rise, Discovering Peace and Power During and After Divorce, coming this February. All right, so the thing I wanted to talk about, and I wrote about this in my new book, so you can read the story, is a time, actually what I called this in my book in the chapter is called 10 Pages of Hate. And it was exactly what it sounds like. It was letters that were written to my attorney, by my ex-husband, by his family members, by his new wife, full of lies and venom attacks, sent directly to my attorney in hopes to be used against me in court. Now, my attorney had requested this information because of the court situation that we were going into, and his intention wasn't to actually use it, but I share all of these things in the book. I have them printed out here in my house, and it's just really amazing the types of things that people will lie about and say about you in an effort to get what they want. And that's exactly what this was. The thing is, the 10 pages of hate was extremely egregious, but it didn't stop there, right? Lies had been fed to the kids. Things had been whispered to people I know, some told to mutual friends, and things are always going to get back to you. And some of you listening might know what this is like. Maybe it's not a letter. Maybe it's a social media post designed to make you look like the villain, or rumors spread at your workplace, right? These smear campaigns are a calculated attack, and they hurt. And they made me question everything at the time, like my worth and my decisions and my relationships. And they are designed to isolate you and make people believe the worst about you, because when they can paint you as the villain, then they look like the good guy. Okay? So I hope that you'll read my new book and you can hear that story, exactly what happened, and hopefully be inspired by it. Now, let's talk about what this does to you, what these smear campaigns do, right? You're already juggling the responsibilities of a divorce. It is extremely hard. If you've ever been through a divorce, you know that it is not just like a one and done thing where we just go in and sign some papers and then we're divorced. It's also juggling the aftermath of the divorce and the children and the finances and the household and your livelihood and your other roles and responsibilities. And then suddenly you're also defending your character every time you turn around. This kind of fallout not only impacts you, but it impacts people around you. It affects your kids, who might not know who or what to believe, and your relationships, if you're in a new relationship, or with friends and acquaintances, people who feel stuck in the middle. They don't know whose lies are lies and whose truths are truths. You might even lose friends, family, work opportunities, or projects because of this kind of drama. And it's exhausting and isolating. And to be quite honest, it feels extremely unfair. Now, let's be real here. How many of us have stayed awake at night, replaying conversations in our head, trying to figure out how am I going to explain the truth to people? So what I'm talking about here, and this probably sounds familiar to you, would be like you overhear someone at work mention a rumor about you that you know came from your ex, or a family member stops answering your calls because they're not picking sides, or your kids will parrot something that your ex said, and it's just this like knife to the gut for you. And if any of that resonates, let me tell you, you are not alone. I've been there, and so have so many of the women who I've worked with. Now let's talk about the beliefs, okay? Because that's what I do. And if this is the first time you're listening to this podcast, we are focused on what is happening in our subconscious mind that is causing us to feel the emotions that we feel. Because most people think that the emotions come first, and they don't. We just notice them first. The emotions pop up as alarms to indicate that something is happening inside of our brain on a subconscious level. So when we're dealing with this kind of thing, we may have thoughts like, people believe the lies, so that means I'm bad or unworthy. I'll have to prove my innocence, or everyone will think I'm the villain. I'll never heal while this is happening to me. And maybe even if I let go of my anger, then they win. Does any of this sound familiar? There could be many, many more, many other ones that you have that aren't the same here. These are just some common ones. But these kinds of beliefs keep us trapped and keep us in the smear campaign's grip, okay? These kinds of beliefs keep us totally enmeshed into the smear campaign. So we don't want to be enmeshed in the smear campaign. People are going to be who they are no matter what. They're going to do what they do. We can't change people or make them do different things. Now, can we file motions? Can we file harassment charges? Can we take action? Absolutely, 100%. Those are all things that we have in our control. But the other thing is that we have in our control is our emotional state of being. And that is where a lot of your power comes from. So often we think, oh, we have to do these things externally. We have to make people be different, and we have to, write them a letter or tell them they need to stop talking bad about us, or like whatever, right? Those kinds of things often really aren't where your power comes from. Where your power comes from is knowing inside yourself that you're going to be okay, even when other people show up like they do. So how do we do this? I want you to think about widening your perspective, okay? And here's the hard truth about this. We absolutely cannot control what other people do. So they'll say things and they'll do things that we don't agree with, and no amount of anger or frustration is going to make them change. So how do you protect your peace then? So imagine driving with narrow tunnel vision. It's hard to see the full road, but when you shift to peripheral vision, you're using your mirrors on the side, right? The world begins to open up. You know there's other cars coming along your blind spots. You know that there is a road up ahead. There are things that you can see when you widen your perspective, just like peripheral vision. So that's what we need to do when it comes to our beliefs. And in my book that's upcoming in February, Radiate and Rise, I prove that even during a smear campaign, you can find peace. You do not have to respond to every insult or defend every accusation. Instead, you can decide how you want to feel, independent of other people's actions and behaviors. And humor helped me a lot. So I added comedic parts to my story and made sure that I included things that were bringing a little bit of laughter to my life at the time. And so I share those stories with you because, let's face it, sometimes the absurdity of these situations can be laughable, and humor can be healing. And it's one of the things that I just wanted to bring to you in the book. So I think it's really important to remember that when you are in the midst of a smear campaign and people around you are lying about you, they are lying about you to people who are close to you, like your own children. I mean, I know that some of the things that I was hearing, even from my own kids, was that I was a gold digger. I'd been married for almost 20 years. that I didn't love my kids. That was something that they had heard. That I was having an affair. That was another one. There's all these things that people will do and say. And really, you have to remember it's because they don't want the spotlight on them. Okay, so even though these things are coming up, you can't take them personally because they're just meant to hurt you and attack you. And if you allow it to hurt you, then you're allowing them to win. So when these kinds of things would be brought back to my attention from whomever would say that, and if it were my kids, my stories might be a little bit different, like in how I would respond. But like if it was like a family member, one of my parents, or a neighbor, or whatever, I could oftentimes just laugh that off. But if it was one of my kids, then I would, just explain to them and say, this is a lie and that's not true. And what do you think the truth is? And so it's very important to realize and understand that you don't have to defend yourself. Of course, you're going to feel the need to defend yourself because anytime somebody is saying something negative or lying about you, you want to clear the air and make sure that that lie gets rectified, right? Because you don't want people going around saying those things about you. So the one thing that will often come up when you are in the midst of a smear campaign, during your divorce, after your divorce, is going to be this feeling of rage, anger, frustration, fear, worry. Like so many different emotions will come up depending on you personally, right? Because if you have beliefs that are like, oh, everyone's going to believe them and everybody's going to think I'm a horrible person, you might be really, really worried because you might think that other people are going to believe the lies. If you are someone who believes things like they shouldn't be talking about me and they should be more considerate and like different things like that, you may have feelings of anger come up. You may have multiple kinds of mixed emotions all at once. But the important part I want you to know and understand, your emotions are valid 100%, right? We're not saying that you don't have a right to be angry or you don't have a right to be worried or upset. Absolutely you do, right? Anybody, any normal person would be. My point in telling you this for this particular episode is to let you know that you get to choose how you feel. And if you're going, what are you talking about? I can't control my emotions. I don't control how I feel. I just feel it. When somebody does something, I get angry. When somebody does something, Here's the thing. You are giving away your power if that is you. So how do you take your power back? Well, you acknowledge the emotion. You allow it to pass through your body. You feel it wherever it's coming up, in your stomach, in your head, in your throat, wherever you feel it. And you acknowledge it. And then you have to get to the deeper layer and ask yourself, what is it that I'm believing that's making me feel this way? Because here's the thing. When you have a belief or a set of beliefs that contradicts your reality, you will suffer. You will be in emotional distress every single time, right? If someone says that you're amazing and you're like, yes, I am amazing, right? You're not in emotional distress. But if you believe something different than what the world is showing you or what people are telling you or how people are behaving based on how you think they should be behaving, you will suffer. So I want, and my goal in every single one of these episodes is to help you and empower you. You can't do this without awareness, right? You can't change how you feel if you don't know what's causing what you feel. And if you believe that other people are making you feel a certain way, you are giving away all of your power to that person. If you believe the only way that I will be okay is if they stop talking bad about me. What if they talk bad about you for the rest of your life? Are you going to feel horrible the rest of your life? Yes, right? But what if you said, I don't need them to stop talking bad about me for me to be happy, for me to be okay. I can be okay even if they do their thing, even if they do what they do, even if they spend all their time and all their mental energy talking about me, thinking why I should be this or why I should do that, right? The 10 pages of hate that I talk about in my book was literally typed 10 pages of all the things that I should be doing, that I am not doing right, that they think I should be doing differently. So what did that tell me when I was reading that? They have a lot of beliefs, a lot of limiting beliefs, because what was happening was me over here living my life, not even interacting with them, doing the things that I'm doing. I'm just living my life, but that's not okay with them. They don't like how I'm living my life. Who's really suffering? Not me. I'm just living my life. They believe I should be doing it differently. They're angry and upset, so they have to talk bad about me. I'm taking up space in their mind. I'm just over here living my life, recording podcasts, writing books, living my life, having fun, right? They can say whatever they want. I don't believe that what they're saying is true, and I don't make it mean something personal about me. What I do is I say, wow, that's really sad that these people have that much time to be criticizing me, to be shaming me, to be wishing I was different and hoping I would change so that I could be the way they want so that they can feel okay. That's pretty sad, honestly. And I hope for your sake that if you are experiencing what I was experiencing and having these smear campaigns, that you realize and understand that that's not about you. Even though it technically is about you, it's their insecurities. It's their programming. It's what's going on inside of them that causes them to do those things, to try to maintain control, to try to feel superior, to feel powerful, to have some sort of organization in their mind when they feel like the world is chaos. So you are actually in charge of how you feel. And in order for you to be okay amid a smear campaign, during your divorce, afterwards, whatever, in order for you to be okay, other people don't have to change. Other people don't have to be different. You can literally be okay even when other people go on being them. And the way you do that is by inspecting your beliefs. I was talking to a client the other day, and I explained to her that your neural pathways in your brain, so the connections that you formed in your brain, if there is a specific belief that you hold, you want to think of it like a rope. And that rope has many, many fibers in it that hold it together. It's not just one string, okay? There's many, many little strings together that form a rope, right? So if you want to break the connection of, let's say, your belief during the smear campaign, let's say one of the main beliefs is that people are going to think bad about me. And people are going to think I'm a horrible person. People are going to think I'm the bad guy, not the victim. And you've got all these other ways that you say it. Those are the little fibers in that rope that create that one neural pathway that's causing you all that anxiety. So in order to break the connection, you can't just come in with scissors and snip the rope. You have to pull each one of those little fibers out one at a time. And eventually that rope becomes weaker and weaker and weaker. And then it no longer drives this emotion for you anymore because you don't believe those same things anymore. You've ended up creating new neural pathways in your brain that tell a different story. A story like, people can think whatever they want. I'm not in control of what other people think. Even if they say it doesn't mean it's true. Just because they're talking bad about me doesn't mean it has to affect my life. Just because they're lying to my kids doesn't mean I can't tell the truth to my kids, right? So there's, in this, I don't want you to get confused. This isn't something that you just change overnight. In my coaching program, we work together for 12 weeks. And my clients who have the greatest success are the ones that consistently show up, practice, and message me. And they're like, I have this belief. How do I shift it? Oh, I have this one. How can you help me? And they're in my Voxer, which is a voice noting app, every day. They are determined and they are committed to changing their brains. And they do, and they're successful. So the whole reason I want to explain this to you is because I don't want you to think that, this is like an overnight thing. It isn't. And I will tell you this, things come up for me still. And I've done this process hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times to change my brain. But still, sometimes things come up and I've got to work that process again. It is a proprietary process that only people in my one-on-one program have access to. And the good news is you have access to it forever. So once you learn it, you can't unlearn it, and you'll always be able to use it. So I want to leave you with just this thought that you are stronger than a smear campaign, even if you don't feel it, even if you feel attacked from all angles. Like, I remember I used to feel like I was in Mission Impossible, and I'm like stepping over wires, and like there's lasers, and like I have to do an acrobat and try to cut a hole into like some glass without anybody know. Like, it felt literally like Mission Impossible to me. Like, that's what it feels like. I get it. I totally understand. But your peace is worth protecting. And you can rise above a smear campaign. You do not have to allow other people's opinions, other people's actions, what they think about you, what they say about you. You don't have to actually let it impact or take away your peace or your power. And there is a lot of power in that. So if you're ready to rise above, I'd love for you to connect with me on Instagram if you're not already, because starting this week, I am taking entries for the giveaway that's going to be tied to my upcoming book launch, which is when you're going to be able to purchase the new book, Radiate and Rise, on February 11th. So what's up for grabs? I am going to be raffling off a $100 Amazon gift card, a 6-week coaching package with me. So this is my mini package. It's not the 12 weeks, but it's enough to get you started to where if you wanted to learn about the process and all that, you could do that in a 6-week package. And also raffling off a copy of Dr. Romani's book, It's Not You. So I'd love for you to go follow me on Instagram because we're going to be posting things on my Instagram page to give you more chances to enter into the raffles. And then on launch week, you'll have an even bigger opportunity to win, more chances to win that week as well. So don't miss your chance to win, to celebrate with the release of my new book, Radiate and Rise, Discovering Peace and Power During and After Divorce, in February. So thank you so much for being here. I hope this episode has helped you. I hope it's given you some insight and maybe some revelations into your own mind to help you take the next steps towards your healing and recovery. So thanks for being here, and I'll talk to you next week.